Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Scary Sundays to Boundless Mondays call. I am so excited to do this. So, first things first, anyone that's coming to the group or coming to the call and they're curious about human design and curious about using it as a tool in their journey, in their business journey, or leaving their 9 to 5. I just want to stop here and say, I'm so proud of you. This is not an easy subject. Human design is a really complex system and it's a complex subject. So for you guys are visionaries. If you've chosen to be in the Boundless pop-up group because human design is something you know can help you, congratulations. So we're doing this thing where you're on the cutting edge and I'm really proud of you. So I just wanted to say that first. Second of all, my name's Becca Francis. Some of you I know, some of you I don't know. Just to give you a little bit of background about me quickly, I'm a human design coach and teacher. I'm a 6/2 emotional generator. And human design really helped me move out of my 9 to 5 and into my own business. So I've been studying human design for a while now, but I've been trying to start a business for about 12 years. And that's been a long 12 years. I've had so many different businesses that never really took off, certainly not enough for me to leave my 9 to 5. But once I found human design and I started to understand it was all about energetics, once I understood my own energetics, my energetic map, and started to work on some things that were going on inside me, that's when my outer world began to transform. And that's when this path opened up for me to leave my 9 to 5. So now I work at home full time. I have an amazing business, Becca by Human Design. And I'm here to look after my senior pup, Oscar. You probably can't, oh, there he is. You can just about see him there. Oscar will be popping up in our calls a lot. He's 14 and a half and he's got a little bit of dementia. So sometimes he'll be sleeping, sometimes he'll be wanting snacks. So just bear with me. But this is a lot of the reason I wanted to work at home was to care for Oscar. So anyway, today, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I've had a couple of questions in from the group. So one from Chloe and one from Annika. So I'm going to go through those. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to have a look at potential answers to the questions, but also have a look at why are you asking the question? That's one of the most important things that you can look at when you're talking about human design. I get so many questions and because people are curious and I love that. But sometimes it's a case of saying, okay, first of all, why am I asking this question? What's my underlying energetic that's prompting me to ask this question? And then that sometimes takes us deeper into the kind of core of how we can help you. So let me share my screen. I'm going to take you through the first question from Chloe. Chloe's given me permission to share her chart, so I'm going to do that as well. So let me share my screen and we'll get started with these questions. Just one moment. Let's share this screen. Okay. There we go. That's the one I'm looking for. Because whenever you give me permission to share your chart, I'm going to share it in what we call quantum anonymized, which means it doesn't show your name and it doesn't show your birth details. So don't worry about that. If you want me to share your chart on a call, if you're happy for me to share your name, I can do. But when I share your chart, it's anonymized. So there's no birth details that are showing there. So let me share my screen and let's have a look at Chloe's question and also have a look at her chart as well. So this is Chloe's chart and you can see she's a mental projector. So what that means is she doesn't have a defined sacral. So she doesn't have consistent access to sacral energy. So the way that she works, the way she would work in her business is very different to the way a generator would work. And she's a mental projector. So what that means is her authority or the way she makes decisions it's also called a sounding board authority. So when Chloe's making a decision, the most aligned thing for her to do is have 2 or 3 trusted people that she can talk it through with. And when I say talk it through, I don't mean ask for their advice. What she needs to do is to say things out loud. So this defined throat center and this defined ajna will have her telling them her perspectives. And when she can hear her own voice and she can hear the vibration of her voice, that helps her to come to a decision. So 2 or 3 people that she really trusts to talk things through with, that she knows won't try and force their opinion on her, is a beautiful way to make decisions for Chloe. So that's her being a mental projector. So let's take a look at Chloe's actual question that she sent in. So Chloe says, one major thing that I'm struggling with right now is not knowing when is the right time to quit my 9 to 5. This is really, really common. I always feel like I need to have something more, that I'm lacking something. I need to be more prepared, or I need to have more savings in case of failure. She says, I guess I'm so used to having that regular weekly paycheck and so stuck in this groove of this mundaneness that I've created this subconscious block for myself. I need to do X, Y, or Z before I quit. How do I overcome that deep sense of fear and failure? First of all, I want to say Chloe's got some real self-awareness around what's happening, because she says herself here, she's got this subconscious block that she feels she needs to have this amount of money before she hands in her notice, her resignation, or she needs to do X, Y, and Z before she hands in her resignation. So that's a really keen awareness to have about what's going on in her own energy. Just bear with me a moment while I fetch Oscar. Okay, so let's have a look at what's going on in Chloe's chart, and we can start to get some clues as to why she might be feeling like this. So let's hop over here. So one thing to say first about blocks and shadows is that they can be quite different. You can experience them quite differently. We tend to use the word blocks as an overarching theme, but blocks tend to be in our defined areas, so our colored areas, and they're where we feel we're too much. We're kind of holding ourselves back out of fear of rejection, because our defined center, so Chloe's defined ajna and a defined throat center, where she's here to sprinkle magic into other people's lives. It's the energy that she's here to give to other people. Very, very bright, strong kind of sun energy, those defined areas. So if, for instance, she felt that she was talking too much, she may have a throat, a blockage, or a block, a subconscious block in her throat center that says, you're too much, hold yourself back, you don't want to be too much. So that's what a block is. And the shadows tend to show up in our undefined areas. So our shadows are where we think we're lacking something. So there's fear around that because we don't have something that we should have. So we kind of tend to hide ourselves away because we don't have it. So the blocks are where we feel we're too much and we're holding ourselves back. And the shadows can be that kind of almost that shame of, I don't have that energy. I don't have access to that energy and I should have. So that's the difference there. So Chloe's question, she always feels like she needs more. She needs to be more prepared. She needs more money. She needs more of this. She needs more of that. That kind of fear we can often trace back to the splenic center. So the splenic center is our center of intuition, our center of physical health. So it's an awareness center. It's awareness of our physical body. And it's also an awareness of fears as well. And where Chloe is undefined, so it's this center is white for her with two red gates defined. So it means it's undefined. That means that she can see all the fears. She is very wise about other people's fears. She can see what other people are fearful of. And it's very easy for her to pick that up and take those fears on as her own. So what could be going on here is that Chloe's subconsciously picking up these fears, these societal fears, this societal conditioning of, I need to have this much money before I leave my 9 to 5, or it's not safe. I need to have a business that's bringing in this much, or it's not safe. I need my business to look like this, or it's not safe. That's really, really common conditioning that she may have picked up. She can see these fears and she's taking them on as her own truths. And she may feel that she's lacking there. That's a shadow. It's this shadow of, I don't have enough. I'm not enough. My income, my business isn't enough. My sense of safety isn't enough. So what can we do to help Chloe with the shadows around her splenic center? The undefined spleen the fears in the undefined spleen can manifest in several ways. So Chloe's given us an insight into how they manifest for her. So it can look like this lack, I'm afraid, this fear, I'm afraid of taking too big a risk when it comes to money. So if you have an open or an undefined spleen, the shadows there are very often about risk, because in the spleen, this gate 28 is the gate of risk taking. It's about risk. And this is where it sits in this splenic center. So one of the things that Chloe could be feeling, or other people can be feeling if they have this open or undefined spleen, is this fear of taking a risk, particularly when it comes to money, because they see the fears of society. If you take a risk, there's a fear of failure. If there's a fear of failure, there's a fear of not having enough, this lack of money. The other way it can show up is she needs this safety net. This is very, very common. I know a lot of people with open or undefined spleens. An open area is where, if neither of these gates were red, if it was completely white, completely open. So we use those terms interchangeably. So you might feel that you need this big safety net, this big buffer before you move ahead, so that you can feel safe, because your splenic center is doing its job. It's seeing all the fears and it's trying to keep you safe. It's the oldest awareness center, and it's a very, very primal center to do with risk and survival. So that's why Chloe's feeling, I need this safety net before I can move ahead. The other thing that open splenic center can do is have her feeling, I need more. My safety is dependent on this big amount of money, this big buffer. So in order for me to feel safe physically, I need to have this buffer of money. So with these splenic center shadows, these same themes come up over and over again. It's not safe to take a risk. How much money do I need before I can leave my 9 to 5? That's an open-ended question. That's different for everybody. I know when I left my 9 to 5, I had started to create a small buffer of savings. But once I started looking at my energetics and my world started to shift and change, the focus actually came off my financial situation, and it was more on where I'm going. And once I knew where I was going, once I started to use these manifestation tools, once my life started to kind of transform, that money piece came along with me. My leaving my 9 to 5 wasn't conditional on that, because the conditions started to kind of swirl around me and create around me in a way that I always had enough. So that's something to remember. We tend to focus on this lack. What don't we have? How much do I need to feel safe? So we can flip the story here with this undefined spleen or this open spleen and say, I get to feel safe as I leave my 9 to 5. My safety isn't dependent first on having this X amount of money. I get to experience safety as I move through this journey. So I'm not going to wait till this number shows itself to me. I'm going to move forwards and work on my energy, work on my energetics, and then that money piece almost takes care of itself. Now, bear with me here, because before this happened to me in my life, I would have really struggled to conceptualize this, but it actually happened. My bank balance kind of just started to take care of itself, because I was working on where I was going, and the pieces that I didn't need, like my 9 to 5, because I wasn't putting my energy there anymore, it kind of naturally started to fall away and other things took its place. So that's one of the things that if you have a defined spleen like I do, it can be a block. Or if you have an undefined or an open spleen, it can be that shadow that Chloe's experiencing of I need X, Y, and Z before I can leave. So what I would say to you, Chloe, is work on understanding or embrace, not so much work, but just welcome the understanding that I get to feel safe as I leave my 9 to 5. It's not one then the other. The two things can happen at the same time. It's morning here. I can't do anything without my coffee in the morning. Okay, so practically, what can I say to Chloe that's going to give her some tools to move forward with this question? Now, I'm a 6'2", so my 6 line is that teacher line. I'm always teaching. And what that looks like is what I want to give you guys is specific tools that you can use to move ahead, to kind of make you independent. Because what I want for Chloe here is when she comes up against this shadow, when it shows itself, and sometimes sometimes our shadows are deconditioned very quickly. Sometimes they come up over and over and over again. Here are some words and phrases and tools that she can use to kind of step back from that energy and go, okay, I see what's happening here. I see this is a shadow, and these are some of the things that I can keep around me, like mantras or kind of affirmations to support that. So I can, when I feel those shadows, I can have a look at those affirmations. I can understand that I get to feel safe as I leave my 9 to 5 and keep going. So I am safe even if I don't always feel safe. Once you start to step into this work, what I've found is that the universe starts to bring components together that are going to support you, the resources, whether that be financial or people or courses or communities that can support you. So sometimes we don't always need to feel those emotions for them to be. So Chloe, you're always safe, even if you don't feel safe sometimes. So your being safe isn't dependent on you feeling it. It just is. That undefined spleen is saying to you, sometimes you don't always feel safe, but you are safe. I trust that there is always more money coming in. So when we think about a bank account, where we talk about we get to feel safe as we move ahead on our journey, a really useful way to think about money mindset, which has really helped me, is it's like this ribbon of energy. So if you step back, you can see this ribbon of energy moving across the earth, through people, because money moves through people. It doesn't flow to people and stop. It's an energy of itself that flows. So when those shadows are coming up for you, Chloe, have this on your computer, have it where you can see it. I trust that there is always more money coming in, because money flows out, money comes in. And one of the biggest money blocks that we can unintentionally create for ourselves is hoarding and saving and kind of holding on, because that energy is a block in itself. And when we start to kind of release what's going on in our bank account, maybe we're investing in ourselves, maybe we're investing in courses or new equipment or something that makes us feel good, that removes that block so that money can flow through your bank account. So think of this kind of this ribbon of energy of money as being alongside you on your journey. You don't need to hoard it all, because we can't hoard energy in that way. You just see it next to you flowing. There's always more. There's always more that will come in. And another thing that you can use is I allow money to support me in every way. What this looks like is sometimes we need things to look a certain way to feel safe. Maybe it's I need to save this amount of money so I can feel safe. But if we flip the story and say to the universe, I'm going to allow, I'm going to receive. In our open areas, our white areas, we can receive, we can manifest in those areas. So you can say, I allow money to support me in every way. And what that opens up is it's not just your salary every week or every month. Maybe you get a tax refund. Maybe you win a prize. Maybe you get a refund unexpectedly. Maybe somebody gifts you some money. Once you're open to these, they start to happen. They start to happen for me. I've noticed that all of a sudden I'll get a refund for something just come into my bank account, which I never expected, or somebody will gift you some money unexpectedly, because I'm open and I'm saying to the universe, I'm not putting all the pressure and all the attention on my salary. I'm opening up, I'm receiving. So just start playing with the ways. How else could you receive money? Because I know for me in my business, my income isn't just dependent on my clients. I have other things. I have affiliate income. I got a notification last night in my sleep that I'd made some money from an affiliate link. So you just never know where this money is going to come from and where this support is going to come from. So in summary, it's really understandable that you have those shadows. You have this undefined spleen and it's trying to keep you safe. So let's support it in return. I'm safe even when I don't feel safe. I trust there's always more money coming in and I allow money to support me in every way. The other thing that I would do, like I said, whenever you ask a question in human design, have a look at the other side, the deeper energetics. Why am I asking this question? So why am I afraid that I won't have enough money? What's the deeper fear? If I don't have enough money, what does that say about me? What does that say about me to my partner? What does that say about me once I've left my job? So Chloe, I invite you to get curious about what's prompting that question, and that will help you dig into some deeper layers. So I hope that helps. I'd love to hear if you started using these affirmations once you've watched the replay. And if you have any more questions, then just let me know. So the second question we had was from Annika. This is another really interesting question. Let me just grab some coffee. Annika says, I'm interested in what my purpose is. How do I attract money? And how can I be fine with being different from the people around me? So there's three big questions there. There's what's my purpose? How do I attract money? That's a very, very big question in itself. And how can I be fine with being different from the people around me? So let's have a look at purpose. So in this call, we're going to have a look at purpose, because that's a question that I get over and over and over again. So the first question, the same with Chloe, I would ask yourself, why do I want to know this? Now that might seem like a really obvious question. Well, Becca, I want to know it because I want to know what my purpose is. But why? Do you feel that you're not living your purpose at the moment? What is it about your life that's making you feel that lack? I know I have a purpose, but I can't get there. There's a gap between where I am and where I want to be. There are several places in the chart. Now, I don't have Annika's chart to hand, but there are several places in the chart that you can look for purpose, hunting for purpose, if you like. But remember that human design is just a tool. It's not the ultimate answer. It's a tool to help us start to explore our energy. So, Annika, I'm going to point you in the direction of places that can start to uncover that question so that you can dive deeper. The first place you can look is your incarnation cross. So if we use Chloe's again as an example, your incarnation cross, they're the most powerful energies in your chart. It's made up of the conscious sun, the conscious earth, the unconscious sun, and the unconscious earth. And in fact, now I'm looking at this chart, Chloe's conscious sun and her conscious earth are in the same gates as mine. So that's interesting. So these are your kind of grounding energies, your most powerful energies, and your incarnation cross gives us an insight into what your purpose is. It gives us a starting point. So over here, it details what that incarnation cross is called. So it's called the right angle cross of consciousness 4. And what I'm going to do is just highlight that, because we can go to this website, Love Your Human Design, and we can search. There are so many incarnation crosses. If you do Control F or Command F and put RX Consciousness 4, hit enter, hopefully that will take us where we need to be. Sometimes you have to play around with it, maybe move. Here we go. The right angle cross of consciousness 4. So you can see here, this is gate 5. So this is the conscious sun for Chloe. This is the conscious earth, the unconscious sun, and the unconscious earth. So for Chloe, you are here to be in the flow of life. All of life is made up of patterns that dance in the river of time. This gate 5, this is about patterns and rhythms and patience. Your energy is the basis of these patterns. So Chloe would be very adept at pattern recognition. She's a projector, so she has this beautiful bird's eye view of the collective, so she's able to see those patterns from a higher perspective. You have an inherent gift to understand that it is all about the patterns of life in nature, in life, in nature, in the universe. So it's all about patterns for Chloe. If we go with the flow, and that energy is reserved for experiencing the things that move in and out of our lives and not spent trying to fight the current. One of the things that we talk about over and over again in human design is this urge to control where you're going, to control your life, to do, to make it happen. There's only one type, the manifester, who has that initiation energy. The rest of us have this responsive energy, or we're waiting for an invitation, or we're responding to the things that come into our reality. So what this purpose is trying to say to Chloe is, look, there's patterns. There's patterns to your life. There's patterns to the universe. There's patterns to nature. And the biggest thing that you can give people is the understanding that it's so much more aligned not to fight against the flow of life, but to go with it. You are here to be wise about this and share your enlightenment with others. So part of Chloe's energy is, when she starts her business, is that coaching. Is that coaching people in the stop pushing and start allowing? Is that teaching? Is it teaching people how to do that? As a projector, she sees systems, she sees patterns. Is her business how to teach people to create without forcing? It could be a million different things. But this incarnation cross, these four most powerful energies in Chloe's chart, give her a really good starting point, a good insight into the power of her energy. So going back to Annika's question, Annika, you can now look at your own chart, go to loveyourhumandesign.com and have a look at what your purpose is as that starting point, and then get curious about it. Or how might that play out in my life? How has that shown up so far? How would that feed into a business? For example, my incarnation cross is about not following the normal pattern of work. It's about working out of the normal pattern of corporate. Let me show you just for a moment. It's really crazy, because that is my life purpose, to work outside the normal pattern and to teach other people how to do it. So this LAX, left angle cross of separation. Let me just show you this so you can see how powerful these incarnation crosses are. Here we go. Here's mine. The left angle cross of separation 2. So my cross has the energy that wants to march to its own beat. That's why I'm sat here, and that's why I'm talking about human design, which to us who are interested in it is like, yeah, I know about human design. It's really cool, but it's still very, very kind of on the fringes. It's this new knowledge that's only emerged the last few decades. So that's why I'm sat here. I want to march to my own beat. I don't want to sit in an office and do what I'm told. This is energy that's looking for patterns and rhythms. So again, same as Chloe, I have this gate 5, this gate of rhythms and patterns. I'm looking for patterns and rhythms that work for me and not necessarily anyone else. This cross is about separation, because on your journey, you will find that other people's patterns don't work for you. The 9 to 5 pattern, the corporate pattern, does not work for me. Even that pattern of having to be at school at a certain time never worked for me. Even from when I went to kindergarten, it never worked for me. The world needs people that move in their own rhythm. For example, this blew my mind when I read this. There is the mainstream workforce, and then there is the need for others to fill the void around it, which is why we're all here on this call. This might be an off shift or temporary position, or simply doing your own thing. That's me. That's my purpose. And this, looking at this, helps me in those times that we all have in business, the times where we feel we might be in lack, or why am I doing this, or no one's listening to me, or is this really going to help people? When I feel that, I come back to this purpose, this incarnation cross. Your pattern is important to you. So the way I work is really important to me. It allows me this feeling of freedom. It allows me to look after Oscar. It allows me to, my daughter lives in another state. My family live in another country. It allows me, when we're able to get on a plane and go and see them at a moment's notice, because I can take my work with me. So my pattern is really important to me, and it's my sense of individuality that I offer the world. So here I am showing you, this is my individuality. This is how I work. I run my business through the lens of human design, and that's what I'm here to offer the world. So I've given you that explanation from my perspective, so you can see how you can actually relate it to your own life. So if you're watching the replay, Annika, Chloe, anyone who's watching, I encourage you to go and have a look at loveyourhumandesign.com. Have a look at your incarnation cross, and then post it in the Boundless pop-up group and give us your interpretation. It's a very safe, secure, intimate space over there. So I encourage you to get curious, and I'd love to know. Incarnation crosses are fascinating, and I'd love to know what your take is on it. Do you see yourself reflected in that? Has it inspired ideas? Do you not resonate with it at all and you're completely confused? And Becca, please, I don't know what you're talking about. Can you please help me out here? So that's one area to get curious about, Annika. The second area to get curious about is your conscious sun. So let's have a look at Chloe's chart again. So the conscious sun is the top planet on the right-hand side. So this is the mind side. This is the body side. This is the conscious side, the mind side. This energy here is 70% of your energy. It's where you shine. It's the energy that people feel from you when you walk in a room without you even saying anything. It's the energy that people talk about when you're not there. So if they're referring you to someone, or just, you know, having a conversation about you, this is the energy that they will feel. So what we do is take this gate and go, okay, well, this is gate 5. Each gate, if we just touch on gene keys for a moment, in gene keys, each gate is expressed in 3 levels. Excuse me one moment. Each gate is expressed in 3 levels. So we have the shadow, which is the challenge, the gift, which is where we like to spend most of our time, and the acidic level, which is a level that we naturally encompass once we move through the gift level. So a couple of things here. We can look at the shadow of your conscious sun is the energy that you're here to learn about, and the energy that you're here to help others with. So this gives you an insight into your purpose. What am I here to do? So for me and for Chloe, the shadow of gate 5 is impatience. Now, I don't know about Chloe, but I have felt this a lot in my life. This is a challenge that I've really had to overcome. And this is a challenge that I can help other people with. I can help people with impatience, because I can help them move out of their 9 to 5 in a way where they're not forcing and pushing and going in a difficult direction. I can help them become patient about where they are, so that they can understand their energetics and open up and let things flow instead of forcing. So what's the gift level here? What do people feel from me and Chloe when they talk about us, or when they refer people to us, or when we walk in a room? The gift level here is patience. And patience is about knowing right timing, knowing when not to push, knowing that the more you open up to the flow of life, the easier things are. So that's patience. And the city is something that we move into once we've spent time in that gift level. And the city here is timelessness. So it's outside of impatience or patience because they're time bound. Timelessness is outside of that. So Annika, get curious about this energy for you. What energy is your conscious sun? Have a look at the gene keys. What's the energy that you're here to transform? What's the shadow energy? And what's the gift energy? How will you attract clients? Where are you naturally happy? Where is that? What's that purpose? The other thing to look at is your unconscious earth, because your unconscious earth in gene keys is also your purpose sphere. So have a look at this gene key. So for Chloe, it's gate 63. So let's have a look. I've got a gene keys reference guide here. So let's have a look at this unconscious earth for Chloe 63. This is gene key 63. So this is called the purpose sphere. Okay, so the shadow energy here is doubt. The gift is inquiry, and the city is truth. So this inquiry, when Chloe's thinking about her purpose, get curious about life. This is a very projector thing. What are the systems? What are other people doing? How can I make this better? She sees systems, she sees people very deeply. She can inquire into people very deeply. So that's something that she can use when she's thinking about her business. Well, how can I use this inquiry energy? Is it coaching? Is it taking people through a system? Is it taking people through a process? What have I been through in my life that I can get curious about, that I can teach to other people? So Annika, that's another place to look when we're thinking about purpose. Vocation. This is another place that we can look. So let's have a look at this. Your vocation. This is your unconscious Mars. So your vocation is in your unconscious side. So your unconscious Mars is down here. So for Chloe, it's in gate 12. Vocation is a very, very powerful gate. It's your core wound, and it's also your zone of genius. So your core wound becomes your zone of genius. So this is a really, really good place to have a look, to get curious about your purpose again. So for example, if we take my vocation, the core wound here, or the shadow energy for me, is separation, being excluded. I felt that throughout my life, from the time I was at school to the day that I left corporate, that exclusion, that separate, that I always suffered at the hands of other women in the office. I always suffered from that, being excluded and being separated, to the point where in that shadow energy, I started to exclude myself before other people could do it. So I recognize that core wound very, very deeply. Your vocation gate is something to approach with tenderness, because it really does uncover what's going on in your energetics. And once I uncovered that, I understood that exclusion wasn't something I was doing per se. It was something that I was here to learn about. It's my core wound. So once I became aware of it, I could let that go and stop separating myself in that way. The gift level here is your zone of genius. For me, it's intimacy. My zone of genius is creating these intimate spaces like we have in Boundless, for women to feel that they can be honest, feel that they can be transparent, that intimacy in conversation, that intimacy in, why do you want to leave your 9-to-5? What's going on with you? What are your hopes? What are your dreams? Tell me about the business you want to start. Tell me about your big vision. Recently, we had one of the Boundless boosts. The daily text I sent out was about, tell me what's your big vision. So if we stay on this for a sec, the vision and purpose, Annika, are really closely connected. So for me, I have started a business to coach women through this journey from 9-to-5 to their own business. That's the kind of strategy. There's a bigger vision for me. My bigger vision is being able to release women from toxic workplaces so they can create their own businesses to contribute to raising the consciousness of the planet. That's a big ass vision I've got, but it's my vision. It's my why. It's not just about here, you can move from your job into your own business. Why? And that's the question. That's where I encourage you to get curious. Like I've said throughout, get curious. Why do you want to do this? What's your big vision? That's my big vision. And that's why I'm creating this intimate space for us to be able to share these. And the city, the highest level of this vocation for me is transparency. That's why in my social posts, in the Boundless Boost, in group calls, I'm very transparent about my journey, about my struggles, the struggles that I still have, about what's my big vision. This is my zone of genius, and this is where I can help people. So get curious about your vocation gate, Annika. Let's have a look at Chloe's. So Chloe's unconscious Mars is gate 12. So some of these terms in Gene Keys can be a bit confronting. That's why I encourage you to have a look behind the actual words, the definitions. This is just a quick reference guide. So that core wound for gate 12 can be vanity. Not vanity in the sense of how you look. It's vanity about kind of protecting yourself. Who are you as a person? Being discrimination. That you're discriminating about your energy. You know, you're discriminating about where you want to go. You're discriminating about not pushing, not forcing things to happen. You're using your energy in a very discriminating way, which is perfect for Chloe because she's a projector. Projectors move their energy in a very specific way. And when they're working with clients, very often clients only need a small piece of that projector energy, which you'll usually find in the channels. So it may be that when Chloe works with people, it's this channel here, the 1156, this channel of the storyteller. That's what they need from her. And she can see that, okay, I can see you don't need all of my energy. This is what you need. You need this piece. This, 1156 curiosity storytelling. So you can see how many layers there are to this. And that's why I encourage you to get curious about your why you feel that you don't know your purpose and what will happen when you do know your purpose. So that, we've covered all of those. So thank you to Chloe for allowing us to explore your chart together. Annika, I really hope this has answered your questions. I know you had some other questions as well. They're very, very big questions that we can go onto other calls, but I just want to give you a starting point to get curious about your purpose. Little bit of housekeeping. Hopefully you all have access to the Boundless pop-up group. If you don't, if you can't get in for any reason or you can't see how to get in, just pop me a message on Instagram. I'm at Becca by Human Design. Just pop me a DM. There's a few of you in there who I've invited, but you haven't accepted the invitations yet, so you won't be able to actually get in and view the group. And I'd love to see you all in there. So check your email, check your junk mail. It may have gone in there. If you need me to resend you an invitation, just let me know. The Boundless Boosts, our kind of inspiring text service, is going out every day. That's going out to the wait lists for Boundless, the membership. If any of you want to receive those texts, but you're not on that list, if you just opt into the Boundless wait list, there is, let me hop over to the group here. There's a link in the group in case any of you wanted to hop on there. Then I can show you here. You can just hop on to the Boundless membership July 2021 waitlist and you will automatically get those Boundless Boost texts. So the membership opens on the 22nd of July and we only open twice a year. And the reason for that is I want to be able to focus on the new intake that comes into the membership and really get to know you and give you a good boost to start that journey of your 9 to 5, leaving your 9 to 5. I know some of you are just about or have just about left your 9 to 5s as well. You can absolutely join Boundless. We're going to be doing a lot of coaching. We have weekly coaching calls where you can ask anything that you like. We're going to have intensives about, what other streams of income can I bring in? When we go back to Chloe's question, I allow money to support me in every way. We'll have an intensive around that. How can you let money support you in a myriad of ways? There's going to be coaching available. There's going to be Boundless, the membership hub available, lots and lots of things. So if you're not already on the wait list and you want to be, just hit the link here. You'll get on the wait list and you'll get the Boundless boost. So if you have any questions, just drop them in the group. If you have any questions that you'd like me to answer on next week's call and you can't make it, just drop them in the group post here and I'll pop this recording up in the group. I hope this has been helpful and we will speak soon. Bye.